TikTok is one of my favorite platforms for selling books and one of my favorite platforms to recommend other authors to be on because the organic algorithm is so great and there is such a thriving book community on TikTok of readers who are looking for new books to read. So myself and many other authors are seeing a lot of success with selling books on TikTok, which is why it's something that I teach and encourage people to try if they are comfortable trying a new app. Now, of course, there is a learning curve to learning an entirely new platform, especially shifting to video if it's something that you haven't really done before. But in today's video, I want to review some other author TikTok pages, share my tips and tricks for you, and hopefully leave you feeling a lot more confident about giving it a try. So I asked my private client Facebook group as well as my Instagram followers to submit their TikTok pages for a free audit in this video. Now, I'm not going to do a full deep dive audit where I look at their analytics and all of the ins and outs of their account, but I am just going to give my first impressions and some quick tips for each author to improve their engagement, their views, and their sales on each platform. So let's go ahead and get started. The first author is going to be at L Unchained. And so let's just dive straight into the profile and start there. You have a picture of you as your author profile picture, which is perfect. Highly recommend doing that. It really personalizes the page. And then you have just your first name as the name, so just Leah. And I recommend using your full author name as well as adding a keyword or two there if you can. So Leah, last name, and then whatever your genre is. And that's my first tip for you is that I'm actually completely missing on what genre you write. I can't really tell from looking at your profile, which is really important. When someone comes to your profile, you really want them to convert to being a follower and especially a reader and checking out your books. But right now it's a little unclear on what you write about. So adding that in is going to be really helpful. And then diving into the actual bio, you list a few things about you. And while that seems fitting for a bio, I actually really recommend speaking to your reader in your profile instead. And this goes for any social media platform that you use, not just TikTok. So yes, incorporate your personality. Yes, incorporate things about you, but how can you actually make it about your reader instead and the value you'll provide or the entertainment or the genre that you write to make it a little bit more specific. So that's why I recommend forming sort of a mission statement for your bio, whether that is, yours says author, intuitive, human being, a spiritual but not a guru, constantly evolving. So maybe your bio is author helping others constantly evolve. I mean, that's just the first thing that came to my mind. That might not fit you, but really thinking about how you can make this more specific to your audience, helping them constantly evolve through books about this, for example. So diving into your content, let's take a look. So with any sort of video on TikTok, the most important aspect is going to be your hook of the video. So anytime you post anything, you want to think about how can I capture attention in the first few seconds of the video, which is why I often recommend adding text over the video, which is really easy to do in TikTok. There's just a text button that you hit from the mobile app, you type in your text, and you're good to go. You can also set the duration of the text so that it appears only in the first few seconds or the full video, whatever you want to do there. And so if you want to hook in your reader, you want to speak to them directly. This could be, are you looking for a book on this? You fill in the blank to be specific to your book. Or if you blah, 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 then you might like blah, blah, blah. So you want to make this specific to your book, but having something that hooks in the reader is going to be really beneficial for getting more watch time, which means TikTok is likely going to show your video to more people. Now with this video, looking at your caption, you just list a few different hashtags, but you're not really talking to your audience in this video. So there's no text on the video, there's no talking in the video, and there's nothing really in the caption to tell us anything about this book. So consider the fact that your caption is kind of an extension of the video and another opportunity to hook people in. So without anything to really hook people in, we're not going to get a ton of engagement on this video. Let's go to another one. So this is a great example of a hook where you've given us some information about the book itself. You've given some samples of the content inside, and you used the kind of slideshow feature to quickly upload some poem examples from your book, which is great. So I would say that that's a really good hook. The POV trend is popular on TikTok, and you've spoken directly to your audience. And you've also alluded to the fact that the paperback is coming soon, which is great. So this book isn't out quite yet, but it will be in the future, and you're warming your audience up to that. So that's wonderful. Some of the content is a little unrelated, and it's okay that not every single piece of content has to be about your book specifically, but thinking about how does this apply to my audience? How would this be a good fit for my reader or provide some sort of value or entertainment to them can be really valuable when we are creating content. So your content should move your reader forward in either connecting with you more, trusting you more, liking you more, or learning more about the writing that you have. And so these CapCut templates are trendy, they're fun. If there's a way to connect them to your book whenever you post them, that's going to be your best bet. With things like follow parties, I generally recommend avoiding these unless you are specifically asking for a very specific genre. And that's because if you get a bunch of followers who don't like poetry, for example, or aren't interested in the genre of book that you write or talk about on your page, your follower count is going to go up, but your engagement is going to dip, which tells TikTok that you're not putting out good content, even if you are. You just happen to now have a bunch of followers who aren't really your target audience. So that's why, in general, I really recommend against follow parties and instead just putting out good quality content for your specific target audience versus trying to attract a bunch of audience members that might not actually be a good fit for you and your books. So, not a bad thing that you did this, but I would consider in the future, if you do want to try this, that you look specifically for people of your genre, like other poets, other people who enjoy reading poetry, or are interested in the types of content or topics specifically in your book. I also see that you recently hit 1,000 followers, so I would highly recommend adding a link in your bio now that you do have that 1,000 follower mark, directing people to your website and adding a call to action in your profile. Let's move to our next author, who is Mary. Mary is in my private client Facebook group and said that she has this account, but she's been going through the course and started a new account as well. So let's just take a peek because I'm loving what I'm seeing in the profile section. Your username has the author keyword. Your name has kind of a blend of the two genres that you write, romantasy, profile picture of you, and I can see in your actual bio section, you've got your link there, you've got a call to action, and you have your mission statement helping you believe in happily ever afters. So well done, that looks great. Diving into the content, what I've noticed from looking at it is it's kind of a mix of content geared toward authors as well as geared toward your readers. So you have, for example, a video on book 3 is coming, and it shares details about what this next book is about. And you also have content relatable to other authors about writing and putting together a book and all of that. So I love the style of the lip syncing and the trendy audios. But one thing I would recommend is if you want to have an account dedicated to kind of relating with authors, building that author community, sharing writing tips, things like that, that is separate from an account where you are strictly connecting with readers of romantasy and talking about your books. When we're blending the two, it can get really tricky for readers to not feel like, okay, this person isn't really sharing content relevant to me anymore. I'm not a writer, I'm not an author, so I'm not really engaging with this content, versus content that is strictly about your books. So with that second account, if you are okay with having those two different accounts, I would keep one specific to authors, continuing to do these fun trends and engaging with the author community, and one page that is strictly for book promotion, talking about your books, talking about other books in that genre, engaging with those readers, etc. TikTok is one of the few platforms where I recommend that a lot of your content is promotional around your books because TikTok sells so well. And using something like Instagram to go along with that and use it for community and engagement is really beneficial. The two go hand in hand really well. And since you can connect your Instagram to your TikTok page, you might find that people are coming to Instagram to engage with you further in the DMs, in your stories, all of that. And you can use TikTok for a little bit more promotion than I would say on other platforms. So that's something to think about if you want to really share about writing and talk about writing with other authors, that it is a separate account. Next, we're going to look at Kirsten. I love this profile picture. It is really cute with a stack of books on your head, on this person's head. I'm not 100% sure actually if it's you. It looks like you based off of your videos. So I love that. And you have your bio as professional writer and wannabe YA urban fantasy author. So that's fun, tells us a little bit about your genre, and wannabe tells me that maybe you don't have a book out quite yet, so you're working on one and want to build up your audience in the meantime. I would recommend adding your last name, whatever name you're going to be writing as an author, and you could even add fantasy in the keywords in your name if there is room. You just do that by going to your profile, clicking edit profile, and then there's a section to edit your name on the TikTok app. And then since you have over 1,000 followers, you can at this point add a link in your bio. If you have an author website created or some sort of landing page to get people on a newsletter, for example, I would highly recommend that you add that. There's ways that you can make a free landing page. MailerLite is my email newsletter platform of choice, and you can create a free landing page that directs people to your newsletter. So you can start collecting email addresses, which is so beneficial to have as a new author promoting a new book. And with that, I recommend having a lead magnet. So I will go ahead and link my video all about email newsletters if you are curious about how to do that. Now, let's talk about your content. So one of the things that I want to say as I come to your page and I'm looking at your covers of your videos is that adding text covers is really helpful. When people come to your profile, it's hard to tell what these videos are going to be about, and adding text on the cover is another way to hook people into actually clicking on the video. And also, the thumbnails are what show in search. If someone's searching for a hashtag or a certain keyword and your video comes up, we want people to click on it. And so without a captivating, hooky cover, it can be hard to get those extra views. So before you post your video on TikTok, the same screen where you add your caption and your hashtags, there's a little button where you can edit the cover image and add any text that you would like. So that's what I would recommend. I can see you've done it for some of these videos that have text, but some of the more recent ones don't. So you want to hook people in with some extra text on the cover. So this video is of you flipping through this book. It looks like it's maybe your current read. Adding text over top can be really beneficial. What the book's about, what your review of it is, what you're thinking of it so far, why people should watch this 17-second video of you flipping through it. Furthermore, again, in the caption, that's really an extension of the video. So any additional details you can add here to get people interested and engaging with you and commenting is really helpful. So asking a question in the caption, such as, have you ever read this book too? Or if you've read this book, what did you think about it? Have you ever read by this author before? Or what's your favorite book in this genre? Lots of different questions you can ask your audience to try to get them a little bit more engaged in your content. Same with this one, again, so people might be hooked in if they've seen this book before or want to see what it's about, but adding text on the screen or engaging people in the caption can be another way to get people more hooked in. And a way that you can see this is if you go to your analytics of this particular video or any of your videos and look at the watch time, look at the percentage of people who are watching the full video the whole way through. And you may be surprised to see that people are dipping after a couple seconds if you haven't hooked them in properly. So this is really good insight to know whether or not your hooks in the first couple seconds of your video are actually as interesting as we might think they are. Whenever we're making our own content, it can be hard to look at it from an objective perspective and not have kind of bias toward our own content. So the data is telling us what our audience thinks about our content. So take that into consideration. Look at the percentage of people who are watching the video the full way through. If it is under 10, 15, even 20%, take a look at how you can make that more engaging next time. Maybe it's a matter of making the content a little bit shorter or keeping it enticing the entire way through. So experiment with that and see if you can get that watch time up. Next, we have Kelly Curry, right the N side. I love that username. And we have a profile picture of you. Your bio lists a few things about you. Radiant Poppy out now, guessing that's your next book, and a word seamstress, which is fun. One thing that I am missing is your genre. Looking at your content, I'm thinking it's poetry style. I actually got a lot of poets submitting their TikTok for this audit, so I tried to pick some different genres, but we got a couple of repeats. And so I would make that really clear in your name. So you could put Kelly Curry Poetry or have it listed in your bio. And as I've already mentioned earlier, it can be really helpful to speak to your audience directly versus just listing things about you. So even though this does give me your personality, sidekick material, I love that. And I think people would resonate with that. If there's a way that you can share a little bit more about you and the topics that you write relating to your readers, that will be really helpful. I have a video all about kind of step-by-step getting started on TikTok that I will link for you here if you want to hear more about setting up your bio as well. So let's look at your content. So again, with the first few seconds of the video, adding a hook to keep people's attention before they actually see the page of this book is going to help your watch time. So I definitely recommend trying that for a few videos and then comparing from one video with text to one video without and seeing what that watch time difference looks like. And you might find that people are watching longer when they've been hooked in. Same thing goes for this video. It's about 7 seconds before we actually see the book and the content. And so with this poem about your heart pounding, chest heavy, something that you could try to hook people in is if you often feel like the room is spinning, or if you are so anxious that your chest feels heavy, or whatever, the topic of this poem is to you, try engaging your audience with that. And you might find that people really engage with it more whenever they are being spoken to and not just shown a poem. TikTok is so fun, and whenever you get the hang of it and really learn what works for your audience, it can do wonders for your book sales, but it can take a little bit of time to learn a new platform, to try out different things and really find what works. So I hope this video was helpful for any of you trying out TikTok to experiment more, take a look at those analytics, really optimize your profile, and see more results from TikTok. Thank you to these authors for submitting for an audit. If you also are an Instagram user, I did another video all about Instagram, auditing Instagram profiles as well that you can check out here. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss new book marketing videos every single week. Thanks so much for watching and have a great week. Bye.